What you? Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Was that?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Hold on.
Sorry,
It's loading right now. It's loading. Okay. Today we're interviewing Mark from Anti-System, and I got a lot of questions to ask you. But before we go to this interview, how are you doing during this lockdown, Mark?
I'm okay. I'm pretty used to this sort of thing.
Okay. First question I had, it was from one of my friend Robert. He wanted to know the question before we start the interview that after you release your album Leather, Bristol Studs, and Ignorance, two members went to prison. What did
Yeah.
they go in jail for?
In our hometown at time, we did a lot of activism. And the main one we did was the abattoir in the city, just off the city centre. And a lot of damage were done there. A lot of protest, a lot of vehicles smashed, and a lot of damage. And two of us got ringed for it, like my brother, who was the singer, and Mark Keane, who was the bassist. They got quite a bit of time, and yeah, it wasn't a good time for us all.
Oh, Mark, can you hear me? By any chance, is your Wi-Fi on? Because you're still loading. Your photo's frozen. Is it possible you could turn on your Wi-Fi?
Hello, are you there?
Oh yes, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So you okay? Two activists, two of your vocalists, right? Did you say they went to jail for was this from this book, Day the Country Died? It says they went to jail for smashing a butcher shop and also liberating cow for getting a
Yeah,
cattle out or something.
it were protest. There were a big abattoir yard, and on the evening, they broke the gates. Couldn't exactly let the animals out because it's into the mainstream town, just off Leeds Road in Bradford. But let them all out of containment into the yard. It were protest and damage. There wasn't anything we could do towards helping the animals, obviously. But apart from processing and awareness. So a lot of that got done, long and short of it. Mark and Mick took brunt of it. And, it held things up. We were really passionate about it, still are. But we were quite naive and young, as you are. And, I think a couple of them later on thought we'd have done a lot more things before getting caught. But it were in papers, it raised awareness. They were called angry veggies. On the print in the paper at the time, we were deemed as angry veggies. And they got, made examples of as well in the sentencing.
And
You hear me?
oh yes, I was looking on the YouTube. Somebody commented that Nick Teal passed away. Is that true?
No, it were a bit of a scare I got. You'd have to know the story of it. Since we reformed, I couldn't ask Mick to be the singer anymore because he's far from the person he used to be. I think mental health has took him and drug addiction and stuff like that. So He ain't the person he was before. Which is a shame.
I'm sorry. I had a hard time. I was having a hard time hearing because the volume was kind of low. So Nick and Kev was a singer from No Laughing Matters album, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Nick Till is alive, right?
Yeah, he is alive.
Okay,
But,
somebody posted on YouTube that he passed away. Okay, this is so sorry about that.
yeah, sometimes I don't know if it's himself posting them things because
Right.
he's in mental health now, and you know he's under addictions and stuff, and we don't really, you know, he's done some personal things to me in the past, and I, you know, for all I preach about unity and everything. I couldn't, you know, tried to help him as much as I can. He become a destructive force. You know, I have my own problems as well. I'd love if he could be the same person and come back singing, but it'd be totally hollow and, you know, he ain't that guy anymore. I don't know if prison affected him or like that, but.
Also, No Laughing Matter album from Anti-System. I've been listening to that since I was in high school. It's so heavy sounding. Like it came out in 1985, right? Recorded in '84, and came out in 1985. How many pressing did you guys do on that album?
How many what? Sorry.
How many pressing? How many did you guys made pressing? Was it like 1,000 or 2,000 or?
You've gone straight to it, so I'll give you a brief description at the time. Anti-System were some of us older friends, some of my school friends, some of the guys who were in Morbid Humour. We were all the same sort of thing. And that first single, The Defence of the Realm, were really the crux of the start of the band. As soon as that single come out, it was literally over. Apart from the drummer, sort of like got hold of our Mick and Keeney, and they're carrying on. Then they asked me to join and keep it going. So the real first start of Anti-System, single side of it. Me and my brother and Keeney were nothing to do with it. We're all from the same place. But, you know, they were obviously friends and fans. So we had his own little band, Morbid Humour. It all ended up sort of merging. Nogs had come out of Anti-System to go into Morbid Humour. Mick left and went into Anti-System with Keeney. So after that first initial start, they'd got the single, Bit of Airplay off John Peel. And it was like Marcus Featherby, the guy who we're talking to him from Pax Records at times, says, "Oh, you can do an album." So I literally joined straight to do that album, which was fucking weird for a really cheap. We were poorest at bar, me, Mick and Keeney. We had to beg Boris Steele for everything. So when I got in a studio, which is all we ever wanted, and there were a big Marshall there, something we couldn't afford and what have you. I borrowed another one of Kev, who was a singer at times, and I plugged them both together, and it just sounded filthy, and I used loads and loads of tracks. And you know, I want to do that thing again. Sorry, I have fucking feels. I've got phone issues.
And that was. Oh, you got a bird. And,
Two. Sorry.
And that.
So yeah, I just overlaid them guitars, and it was great. We couldn't afford bus fare. I'll take you outside. I mean, it's just a bit loud. Yeah. In sanatorium.
Yes, and that album, No Laughing Matters, it came with a booklet.
Yeah, we all
I
went
used to have
print
that a long time ago. It was so amazing with all the information and all that, all the information about anarchism and all that stuff. It was,
Yeah,
it was really, really
great
amazing.
at the time. we went to it was called the Cathedral Centre with screen printing. It's where a lot of bands did the flyers and everything at the time. And they allowed us to do that. We spent the time there making it. Took it up to Red Rhino Distribution. Spent a day up there just putting them all in the albums. It was great, exciting times for us back then. It all just sort of seemed to happen, that album, and the time were really good. Everything felt good. It needed that power and anger at the time. And yeah, I enjoy listening to everybody's stories about that album. That's their own personal tales is what I do it for. They're really, it touches me out when people come up talking to me about it.
And right after that album, Leather Bristol Studs and Ignorance album came out.
Sorry, it wasn't called that. It was a Look at Life 12.
Yeah, Look at Life album came out. It was much, much heavier. It got so heavy. It was really awesome. Who was your influence?
At the time, most of us liked, mainly Crass, Antisect, Flux of Pink Indians, and a load of stuff that don't really sound like that. But I personally, I were an anarcho-punk, but when I heard Discharge Man, Antisect, that was where I were at, and they were main influences to sound, I'd imagine.
Did you say Antisec?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why that's the second album. I Look at Life went more metalish because it was so heavy. I really like that. All the heavy guitar sound.
I'll tell you a little interconnected story between them albums. The first one, it wasn't called Crust then. We were hardcore thrash, punks. That's what we called ourselves. But I'd always had a little sly leaning to metal, and that caused many a kicking bollocks and stuff from my brother. He was like, "No, we're staying punk, we're doing this and that," and we were like, "Man, something's got to give and change a bit, It's progressive as music. You can stay in the same style, but to sit and play the same thing over is a bit, So it was like me and Keeney were just down playing and writing different bits, and Mick lent to it, and it was a bit of a thing to do at that time because you went in a pub in them days, you went in an heavy rockers pub, you'd probably not come back out. It was a divisionary place. So what's really good to me is like seeing metal and punk fuse. At the time, there were a lot of slating for it and stuff, because people just wanted to keep the same. But, that'd be like asking someone to stand in the same spot for 20 years. What's the point? You're gonna have to break things and try bring more people in at the time, mixing things in. It's beautiful to see it now. Subcultures sort of like merged into one. If it could have all done it at that time, we might not be in this shit state now, is my opinion.
A Look at Life album came out in 1986, right?
Yeah.
That's when all the punk and metal crossover was going on. That's why it was so heavy. I really love that album. The sound and everything. Okay. And also, I noticed when you restarted the band, since you mentioned about the 7-inch, the early 7-inch, your original member, also Mickey, was in the band, the bass player. Did he leave or is he still in it?
No, when I first initially restarted back out, I'll give you a bass note of it all. No one's ever been able to prove that Dino, the original drummers, sort of made some money and had all rights to his music and stuff. It's an age-old thing we'll never know. We're not about money, but I think he lined his nest with it. And when we got going again, all we wanted to do really was just put a middle finger up to all that's gone on. There will have been a load of repressings. There's been a lot of dodgy ones that are just sorry. a record list, poor quality. So all I really wanted to do was come back and sort of put another option to that. And strangely, by last year, we've got all the stuff on one double record now, on Boss Tunage. And that sort of sticks a finger up to the one source where you could buy it all the time, which, you know, a lot of people have made a lot of money off it, I think, over years, but we never got a penny. We're not really bothered about that. We just fucked off the mate, ripped us off back in the day, and might have made his living off us all his life. So when I reformed, I asked Mickey, because he were illed by the same guy. He got kicked out of the band literally after just recording a few tracks on the first EP. So him being a personal friend and knowing he's a good musician and playing guitar and such, I asked Mickey when I said, right, I'm starting back up, it'd be good if you joined. So he did. But as things got going and taking off, I think he realised you'd have to give your job up and stuff, or keep Anti-System really low key, which isn't really, I wasn't going to put my time into that. And, you know, we talked it through, and Mickey ended up sort of like, I can't make all gigs, but, you know, it's been great. You know, things happen like that. It's life. Punk don't pay, unfortunately. So.
You also have two women member in the band now.
I have my daughter Emma.
Uh-huh.
You know, she's sort of, well, after that first embryonic outing, which were like sort of settling stuff out, it was great while it happened, but then it was like people aren't going to make gigs, they aren't going to do this. Things changed around, and Emma just said one day, and she says, Balls, Dad, I'll help you, man. You know, she's got passion for it. I'm proud of her. She's, you know, she wants to get up there and give it some. She has medical complaints and a job, so she can't get in all the time on every gig, but she helps where she can. The other ladies have sort of been standing when she can't do well.
Also, yesterday I posted on my Facebook that I was gonna interview you, and couple of the people wanted to ask you some questions. Okay, because right now it's 6 a.m. in California, so everybody's asleep. So okay, actually this one's from Eric from Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah.
His question is, can they confirm that someone from the band now lives in the States, especially in Western Pennsylvania? Apparently a friend of mine met someone from Anti-System at a Stiff Little Finger show outside of Pittsburgh a few months ago. So does one of the members live in America or no?
No.
Okay. This one is from your area, from England. Simon, the original singer from The Instigator. I'm friends with him on Facebook. He wanted to know if any of them are original members, can they remember Marcus Featherby?
Featherby. Yeah, he was the guy from Pax Records.
Oh, that's Marcus.
That's Marcus.
Uh-huh.
The main arsehole and bane of our life.
So
the band's life, anyway.
What happened to Marcus from Pax Record?
I think he ripped Exploited off a couple of other big name bands, and I think just about anyone who helped him put his records together. And he went into obscurity. Sorry.
Oh, excuse me, I was just coughing. I drank too fast. I'm drinking a tea. Okay.
So good point, yeah. Marcus Featherby, I don't think anybody knows where he is. And I bet a lot of people would like to ask him a few questions.
Another one is from my friend Jacoby from Beginning of the End fanzine from Sacramento. Do you still believe in the fear of nuclear war today?
Yeah.
I think he asked you that because you guys had so many songs against nuclear weapons in the 80s, so he wanted to know that.
Yeah, I know sort of time's gone on and notes blown up apart from Chernobyl and couple other mega disasters to do with nuclear power. But, you know, shit can still blow any time. That's the way I see it. North Korea said, you know, all these little examples of aggression. You know, I know it's de-escalated and warhead numbers are out there and stuff like that. I know it plays for clean energy. You know, I've grown up a bit, but it's still dirty force, I feel, you know, not need
Eh,
green energies.
Another question is from Sash Murray. I heard the band was working on releasing a soundboard live recording from the 80s. Is this happening?
No, well, Mickey, when he were in the band, we got talking because he has some great old stuff on record. And it was the area just before I joined him, they played with Mau Mau's at Marples in Sheffield, and that got recorded live. Now, Mickey had been more than welcome to put that out on a recording by any of us, I imagine. You know, it'd be
And
cool if he did, actually.
this one is from Robert Hamilton Samuel from Riverside. What seemed to be the most popular era of anti-system and why? Each record seems to be clearly have a different style and evolution of the band.
Yeah, I think that's all it is, evolution. To me, I don't think I'd beat the days when I was an anti-system fan. The gig I just mentioned there, you know, it were my mate's band. I were in Morbid. And that would just, it was because the amount of people at the time and the old kicking and, you know, it were vibrant, were punk back then. Through our era, which is only a year or so after, that's when all, you know, we did a mini tour with Icons of Filth and stuff like that, and it was quite apparent that people just weren't coming to gigs and scene were taking a bit of a dip, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But them two records, I think there's only 2 years in between, you know, so a lot happens in that time.
Tell us about your 2-week tour with Icons of Filth in the 80s.
Yeah, that was cool. It was set up basically back in the mobile phones. We had us soap stamped letters, and if you were lucky enough to be able to grab a phone somewhere. So I went to my relatives and used to talk to Stig down in Wales, and we put that little tour together. And that was a magic little moment in life for that. We enjoyed that. It was punk as fuck.
In the 80s, you guys played at some of the anarchist centers and stuff. Are those still around today in England?
Yeah, I can say back then, in them days, we had a little pub with a club. That's become, and I think it's 35 years. It's getting on for 30 years, and that's his own centre in Bradford. It's quite world famous in anarcho sort of thing. 1 in 12 club in Bradford, which we're extremely proud of. It's somewhere bands can play. I think, you know, it's gained a bit of a reputation for being a cool place, and it's still going.
Oh, still till this day.
This day, I
Wow,
mean,
that is awesome.
unfortunately, I'm just seeing stuff now where we're going to have to help them out. They were struggling a bit anyway, and then with this pandemic thing, no gigs on and stuff. So I've just seen a few things starting. So hopefully, when we can get done, we might have a big gig down there to help the club out. Is what I'm hoping. You know, I imagine most places will be doing that with the centres, trying to support them places. You know.
And also, like in the 80s in England, you guys had a huge squatting movement, squats and stuff.
There were a lot of squats at the time, yeah.
Yes. And from what I read and stuff, that you guys fixed up electricity, water, and everything, and had gigs and cafes and stuff. From it's been many years. We're in 2020. compared to the 80s. That's many, many years.
Yeah.
The punks who were involved with squatting movement and everything, are they still involved doing that, or did everyone have family and grew out of it, or?
But I mean, there's been a lot of both. I mean, there's still a squat scene. Well, England got fucking heavy at them times for subculture. You know, they made it very hard, difficult, victimised people, and it's just got worse ever since, really, hasn't it? You know, so subculture's a bit more subdued in England, apart from the real core of, you know, people who are sick of shit. So there is still a good scene underneath it all.
Oh, the reason I was asking is because I heard in England at that time when you were squatting, you guys get the plumber and the water working, turn on the electricity, and have cafes and everything running and all that.
People power showed its worth then. I mean, it was just amazing. It was just a different community of people helping each other and problem solving. You know, that could have been applied socially instead of this shit. No, that's where we were up in life had went. Unfortunately, it wasn't as easy as that. And, you know, Thatcher sent the boys out.
Would you also say that England was the birthplace of the anarcho-punk movement?
Um, it were early on with it, and you know, I think inspired a lot of it. But there's always been pockets of anarchists. It ain't just to do with the music, you know. There's always pockets of people who've had enough and want change. So it spreads easily, doesn't it? You know, that's how it seemed to be. We're all bouncing about, pogoing, and then next thing, someone had a bit of informative fucking knowledge and different way of things. So, you know, you grow into that. It was a great thing to go through, and I've carried a lot of them philosophies through, you know.
I heard in England, so the anarcho-punk movement, did it get passed down to the next generation? Is it still going on today with more younger folks?
Yeah, that's what's refreshing to me, is seeing, you know, people such as my daughter and her age, when I go to gigs, and it's just like being then, now. And it's a nice thing to see that, you know, there's some vestige of hope in the youth, you know, because the rest are on computer games, and, you know, I don't mean they're nasty, but they're not really feeding your head with useful information, only how to blow things up.
Also, back to your band Anti-System. I was looking at YouTube and stuff. You guys recorded some new studio songs.
Yeah, yeah.
And was that just for YouTube, or do you have a release for it? And when was that recorded? This year or last year?
When we first sort of rejoined, and that took a long time to get 3 new songs together. So now we're hoping that we've had an album out by then, but so the dudes worked and had other restrictions. It were really dragging on. So we put What Price Freedom EP out. It's got the 3 new songs, Eyes Wide Shut, What Price Freedom, and then we put 2 of the old songs on updated.
Right.
It were really because things were fraying again. You know, you want to get going again, and it were a bit slow. So at least we got them tracked out. It was a great thing with guys. You know, we're happy with album, and people left shortly after and stuff, and you know.
And I noticed with the new lineup too. Before all this pandemic happened, you guys have been playing a lot of gigs and touring, right?
Yeah.
Where have you guys been touring with the new lineup and everything?
With new lineup, were really the band were nearly over once Dean and and stuff. And my Mark left. He just said, can't be bothered repairing and carrying on. And it hit me a bit, but I just thought, well, I'm carrying on. And then, like I say, Emma went on phone call when a couple of dudes we'd tried out let me down. And she just said, oh, bugger it, Dad, we'll do it, me and you, we'll go from there. And then I had some help from some good friends, and we sort of just stitched it back together, not to let some guys in Scotland down who'd put a lot of work into setting gigs up. And we grew from there again, bottom up again, but they were very understanding in Scotland. We shouted us way through a few gigs for a few months, and it's starting to get back on track. We Jagger and Eddie and just played over in Mullally with a new lad called Adam filling in on drums. But now talking, I've got it solid again. I just want to rock on and get another album done.
I Eat Mustard and Dirt. He just I Eat Mustard and Dirt just typed in a question. It says, could I ask why was there a song about animals, but you guys worn leather in later days, like the 90s? Is that true?
Yeah. This is what I was saying. Most of the pictures represent Anti-System. They've got Mickey Knowles, who's got the red spiky hair, and his friend Liam, who sung for, I think he did 2 gigs with them. And that was the last of the original Anti-System before Mimic and Keeney, who were more the veggie vegan element of it, an anarcho-punk side of it,
Also,
So it all changed at No Laughing Matter. Before that, it was, they were still levered up and hypocritical and stuff like that.
I really like this book.
Yeah.
And
Ian Glassman.
System is in it, written by Ian and stuff. I don't know. I don't know too much about what's going on in England now. How is the anarcho-punk scene in England now?
On gigs we've been doing and stuff, it's it's hit and miss. You get some good gigs and festivals, and then it's on the street level at the gigs where it seems to wane a bit in England. You don't get the support like you do abroad.
And
Some gigs you do, there's some really good turnouts, but then from what I've seen, there's good shows put on in the work, and there's other ones where maybe they haven't worked with same people in the area, and there's too many bands on for how many people there is about and such. Sometimes it's really strong though, so it's hit and miss.
and I think it was last year or something. I noticed a lot of old bands are coming back, and you guys also play with Anthrax, England, and Anthrax, who used to be on Crass Records and the System and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, are they? Do they have some of the original members from the old days as well? These band members.
I think the system definitely did, but I heard a lot about Jimmy being poorly. That's unfortunate bit now. We're all getting a bit 50s-ish.
And Anthrax is Lawrence from Anti-Seg still playing for Anthrax or no? Lawrence, who used to play for Anti-Seg.
I don't think so, no. I'm not sure. I couldn't really comment on that.
I just have to tell you, like, Anti-System, Anthrax, and System, you guys are still doing all the banner drop. That's really awesome. You guys made all these new banner drops and stuff. Not that many bands do that anymore, bringing all those banners back, all the artwork and stuff.
It's an integral part of it from me, because I remember going from a normal show. I think the first show was Spiz Energy. I was only about 14 or something. And then through the same week on the Tuesday were a Crash show. And I walked into that, and it was just it was beautiful. It was just draped with messages, and, you got a real vibe. And then backdrops were a good part of it. It showed the band's intentions, and some great artwork and stuff. So it's great when you see a good band with. I mean, it's moved on now. There's live shows like Crest have the live shows, video screens behind them, and all that adds to me.
And
Good.
the thing I like a lot about the 80s, like I said earlier before, your album, not many people know this. Your No Laughing Matter album came with a booklet and you could like
Yeah,
read and everything like a literature. And then in the 80s, you had all the artwork. People took time doing art, not on the computer and stuff. Just take a time drawing. Albums came with booklets and flyers, which we don't know about. And your artwork on your both LP album, Look at Life and No Laughing Matter. Who did the artwork for the cover? I really like the artwork.
yeah, yeah. Paula, who was Phil Dean, the original member, the drummer. Um, Paula was his. Well, they got married, so they had kids. But Paula did most of the artwork. Some of it were thieved out of magazines and stuff, but she had a way of putting them all together that way. So quite cool. It was really good. She was a good artist.
And she did the poetry for the No Laughing Matter, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was her,
With
Paula.
Nicole vocals, that was
Wow,
Paula.
that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
Was did Paula also did the early 7-inch artwork as well, or was that a different artist?
I think she did. Yeah,
Wow. Are you still in touch
um,
with her?
yeah, yeah. I see you on
Wow,
occasions.
that's awesome. What is she doing now? What are some of the other anti-system members doing besides doing punk rock?
Um, we think Phil, who was her husband, um, they had kids, and Marcus Featherby's the godparents, so he's always been in cahoots with him. Paula and Phil have split up since they became a bit much like Mick, total anti what he should be. I think there was a bit of abuse involved and stuff like that. So generally not a cool cat, you know what I mean? Not a nice guy.
I'm I'm just curious because on your guitar sound for No Laughing Matter and A Look at Life, musical influence. I know it's not crass because it sounds so heavy. I think it sounds heavy than Anti-Sec on the A Look at Life. It went so much metal. Do you listen to metal, or what influenced you to play like that and Look at Life, your guitar sound?
I've always been a little bit open and not sitting in a groove in a track. So I liked anti-sex, fuzzy, loud, dirty sound, and I really liked Discharge's twin power sound,
Uh huh.
and it was just a matter of as well as that. This is I'll give you just a little.
Did you?
I had like Crass albums, Crucifix, stuff like that, and then something like Black Sabbath, Die Young,
Yeah, Sabbath.
which it were quite unknown in the day. I mean, we used to fight in the band internally, and heavy rockers would boot you up the arse in town. But I just liked that. I like guitar. I like loud guitar,
Did you
well played.
did you guys tour with Anti-Sec in the 80s or no? Or played shows
No,
with them?
no, there were meant to be a show, and it never happened. I can't remember which one it was. It
Wow.
might have been Bunker. We played with them since down in Birmingham, and it was a personal great band for me.
What what was your favorite era of Anti-Sec? Because my favorite era was when Tim Andrew was on vocals and they went like metalish after
Yeah,
the seven
well,
inch.
I liked both. Like when they started getting criticised for change, well, I suppose every time we got criticised for being not as no, it was still heavy, but it was a bit more polished than the early Anarcho recordings. What we'd had to pay for ourselves. Some dude said, "We'll pay you in the studio." You go, make most of it. That's what we did.
When all this pandemic is all over, what are the plans for Anti-System? when everything is over with the lockdown? What are the
Yeah,
plans?
we had a lot on for this year. It was going to be great. We'd have played a new punk festival in Scarborough. I was really looking forward to that. And we had a chain of gigs and open for more and getting loads of offers. So we're in a really good place that all the members now just want to work hard. We're gonna come out like caged tigers, hopefully, and cause some shit.
Right. For being in the punk movement for many years, what changes have you seen in the punk movement?
Um, I changed myself. I had kids and stuff. I'd not gone to gigs for a while. I put my guitar down for a bit. Life took its toll. So for me, personally, coming back and just seeing a strong scene and what I've been fucking missing were great. Catching out bands again. You miss a bit of magic if you're not getting some of that volume in your cranium.
What are some bands that we should know about?
Burning Flag from Halifax, my mate's great band. They've just took a knockback because Ange, the singer, just had to leave. But luckily, they've got a great vocalist, Ollie. I'm telling everyone now to check them out. Burning Flag. Some at good old names: Decontrol, Subdivision, Sedition. Some great music out there.
Mm-hmm.
But they're one of me for a relatively new band. They're really grand. They give it some Satanic Malfunctions. There's loads of bands. Get on YouTube and get looking. There's a good scene all over this world of great bands.
And besides from punk
And go
rock,
see them live.
okay.
Sorry.
And besides from punk rock, how have the animal rights movement changed from the 80s till now?
I think it's spread. I think there's a general awareness. It's took a long time to spread. There's still a lot of ignorance, but there's still a lot changing, and it makes me feel a lot happier. There's a lot more choice for people. Some reasons and that might differ, and people argue. I see all little comments and that, but anything that causes reduction of meat, and hopefully topples the old fucking state of that game, it's all fine by me.
And is CND still a farce?
Yeah, never got anything done.
All right.
I think the sentiment, it's what people's sentiment is, and then it seems to get curtailed in politics and always sort of loses its thing. It's still good to protest, even if it's just walking around. Them words were strong for a time, naive. People need to get up off their asses, join together, not be intimidated by police fucking state bullying tactics, and just amass together for a better situation.
When this is all over, when everything comes down, next year I would love to see Anti-System touring America. I mean, especially California. That would be awesome.
It's a dream. It was set up a couple of years ago. Kev from Verucas were drumming at time, and
Wait, you guys were trying to come
up.
here a couple years ago?
Yeah.
What happened?
But well, this is the ultimate thing. I'm on it now. Before coronavirus come, I have a few. What do they call them? Yeah, I think you call them misdemeanors on my record.
Uh-huh.
So I've got to have it all checked out for availability of being able to get in. But I'd love to get over there. I know there's a lot of love for us over there, and we'd have a lot of love for you. So I'm working on it.
That's awesome. You mentioned Verukers, so you guys were about to come with Verukers? Was that what you said?
Kev from Verucas were drumming at time, so I don't know if we'd have come. It would have been great to do it together. It'd be great with anyone. anti-sect anyone. It'd be great, but I've just got to get over this. I had a bit of a cannabis possession when I was in Nipper, and an altercation with Her Majesty is bully boys around 15 years ago. So I've just got to do a bit of research.
You guys been friends with Verrucas for many, many years.
Yeah, cool band.
Okay. Thank you very much for interview, and don't break up. Stay together. And when everything's is over, I really hope to see you next year.
Cool, man.
And
I mean, it is a dream of mine. I'd love to get over stateside and do some show, especially in Cali with that. You know.
And thank you for still being in the punk movement since the 80s, from the early 80s and everything. I'm going to upload this on YouTube, and I'll post it on your Facebook wall.
Great stuff, man.
And
Great
we'll keep in touch.
Do that, Peace Punk.
All right. Much respect to Anti-System.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Bye, man.